Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. So this vlog is quite interesting one because most of us already working on AI administration or AI implementations and even on the AI governance. So we always look at more of scaling up the AI, improving the guardrails around the AI, and then do some monitoring around AI. But have you ever imagined about doing some co-pilot investigations? So today, the custodians, when the legal department is running an e-discovery on any of the user data, they rely on the emails, chats, SharePoint, OneDrive, etc., all the the available repositories. But how about Copilot investigations, right? So sometimes using Copilot heavily in the organization, we inject a lot of prompts. Could be harmful, or could be even doing a data breach when the response is provided to it. So it's very much important to understand what ground of data has been injected. So at the end of this video, I'll talk about what is something the keybit is missing and what would something definitely required for the organization to help do these investigations in in the cleaner way. So without any delay, so let's understand. And I just got a few slides here. I'm not going to do some demo because it's self-explanatory when I speak about the portals. So we just talk about the slides of what is Copilot investigations and how it is different from the monitoring perspective. So in this slide today, I'll be talking about the Copilot investigations, tools, portals, and then security ins insights. So why is the Copilot investigations matters today? So due to the rapid adoption of AI assistants like Microsoft Copilot, ChatGPTs, you have the inbuilt AI agents, right? So a lot of people would have been adopted to this AI journey, and you wanted to. There is a risk always involved. All the applications which end users utilizes it. Increased risk of there could be even a data leakage, right? Like injecting and harmful prompts, for instance. And what if this AI is going outside the organization to fetch the response for us? So when it is going to fetch the response, especially I'll just take in case of the Copilot, for instance, right? So we have the Copilot architecture. When it goes outside the organization to fetch some information to summarize for the user response, sorry, user input, we know that the Copilot will not take the organization data outside the ecospace here, but it definitely picks up the keywords and then run against the LLMs to process it and then give the data back to the result back to the end user. What if the Copilot is embedded in an agentic environment like Copilot Studio, for instance, or you have developed an agent you bought into the Copilot ecosystem, and user just injecting an prompt to get some response out of it. So during the agentic interactions, there might be a violations, or there might be a co-pilot processing perspective might change, and of course will change when you have got some the built or customized AI agents. So in these cases, the data leakages needs to be pretty well addressed. Inappropriate grounding sources. I have got my agent, for instance, let's say a personal agent which I developed in the Copilot, and I restricted it to the specific OneDrive and specific SharePoint sources and even some public articles. So I made ensure that this Copilot shouldn't be going outside the organization, or even the grounding of data shouldn't be except this three files or three data sources which I've given to it. But look at the broader instance where the not from the personal agent perspective, look at the broader perspectives when you have injected a prompt and Copilot or any AI in general is going outside the organization or even within the inside the organization, bringing certain data to ground it to fetch you the summary. Like, for instance, You have the you know let's say there is the files or which is confidential, for instance, and that is open up for the everyone, like a public sites or a public document, and but that data is confidential. And you got the response from the copilot, it's grounding it from this particular source because that particular file is being open for the organization and it is read by everyone. So this makes the somewhere the data breach as well, like, so we need to be extra cautious about locking up the files. Now, how does this is different from the investigations, right? And how it, because this is more of the guardrails again. Now you would be thinking, how it is investigations coming up here? So I'll just hold that questions for the end of the session. So need to go beyond monitoring, not investigation itself. So we normally do the monitoring. We have got the guardrails, as you said, and we have got all the you know bits and bits of monitoring for signing in, for accessing it, for even adding additional agents, multi-agent orchestrations, putting up the guardrails on the environment. Everything is logged in, but investigation is more different than the monitoring, right? Why did Copilot generate this response? It's the major important one for the investigation purpose. Now, this cannot be the monitoring one, right? This is more of the real-time scenario where the Copilot generated response, and you or even any AI has generated a response, and you're a bit kind of speculated and understand, need to understand why is this response coming up for me? Where is it actually coming from? I did not even know that the Copilot or agent or even any AI can fetch to this level. So that something you'll understand only in the investigations. And this is can be done in the preliminary analysis, when you're implementing a strict guardrails, of course. So these are my aspects and key difference between the monitoring and the investigation. So I've just picked up the four areas here. The purpose, the monitoring, when you have an agent or when you have a co-pilot into the organization, you wanted to track the usages, you want to have all the activities being recorded, done. So monitoring is in place. Investigation is deep diving into the incidents, right? In basic terms of when there is an investigation on the custodians, then you need to have a certain data from the co-pilot as well, or from the co-pilot interactions as well, so that they can deeper dive into the investigation to understand what the custodian was up to. Focus. So monitoring most of the time, or definitely every time, based on the focus, is the metrics or logs. So the key metrics, what you wanted to monitor it, the key logs which you wanted to generate it for the investigations. So these all are interlinked. The monitoring and investigations are both of kind of interlinked for as you read here. So investigation helps these metrics to out the logs to analyze and understand the context of it, the reason of it, and the sources behind it. Example is the number of prompts. So let's say there is a custodian and who is continuously prompting it for the AI. Most of the times they are relying on the co-pilot, and you also found that the user is not available, but there is a non-interactive sessions being used to continuously query this co-pilot. Then you need to understand, right? But in this monitoring, you just get those logs of why is this continuous injections and there's a tokens consumed, right? And then you'll feel like, okay, let's investigate it to understand the specific response, why a specific response was generated, why there's a lot of prompts being generated, why is there is a lot of responses from this particular sources that's coming up. Tools for monitoring, we use it for the visualization dashboards, for instance. For investigators, it will be audit logs, content explorers, activity trials. So this is one of the basic tools which in conjunction they work with both monitoring and the investigation perspective. So this is the key slide for I wanted to explain is the we know in monitoring even you got the Splunk or Sentinel where the audit logs has been pushed. But a manual pulling of the data from these portals makes a bit of difference for me. I'm not sure about others, but really makes a difference for me to analyze the raw data instead of the processed data which you see in the Splunk. So if the investigation is happening on the custodian and they view the Microsoft Purview is a very important portal where they can fetch the audit logs to get all the the Copilot interactions. And now the Purview has got a lot of preview features as well for the Copilot agent interactions, who added the environment, what was the recent change in the bot, who created the bot, who deleted the bot. So you get so much of audit logs there, and you can apply it in any conjunction for instance, let's say there is an agent which is developed and rolled out for your organizations, and most of them are using it, and suddenly that agent has been deleted and there is a business impact. And then you started doing an investigation. So the first step you'll dive into is the Splunk, and then you found that okay, there is a Splunk alert being generated for the agent deletion. It can have the processed information for you, just let's say the 4 or 5 metrics is there, but look at deep diving into the Microsoft Purview for the same log, you will get a lot of information about even the correlation ID sometimes helps us. The platform where this agent was deleted could help us, because the platform could be a laptop, if it is an end user laptop that's been recorded, or is it from the any other third party devices or any automated devices. So you it gives us more depth analysis when you uh, use this kind of the portals. So all these portals will be different for your different types of investigation. So and then the second one is the 365 Defender or the M365 Microsoft Security Portal in general. So where you'll do the threat detections, a suspicious activity correlations. So once you have got the lot of prompts being generated from the audit logs, the Copilot interactions. So and then you found it, okay, is that a suspicious, right? So then you have this 365 Defender if you have enabled. I mean, this 365 again will come under the additional costing, I believe, because today when I tried with my own lab, I did not get this options in the my trial tenant. I believe this comes with a cost, or probably that would be an additional licensing which trending of everywhere today. So Microsoft Entra ID, another very important portal for us to understand. Okay, once you have that, the service principal and object ID which you have found from the 365 Defender portal. Now you wanted to identify if that particular service principal is actually registered as an application in your organization. Yeah, so it's good to once you have got that object ID from that another second, and then in the third analysis you'll understand the properties of that service principal, and then lock it down instantly so that you get to be covered to you basically locking it down to cover the few further impact that's been causing. Admin portal is always a impressive portal for everyone, of course, right? And now we got Agent 365, which gives you a very big picture of what's happening and what sort of agents being developed, and types of agents being developed, and third-party agents coming into your ecosystem. So that gives a more clear pictures these days. So this is also sometimes help the organization investigations if there is the scale up has happened in the adoption of AI, then this particular, and you wanted to investigate, is that actually an added value, right? Is that the business value being added, or is it just that people are using it for AI as a partner, for instance, like just they put the query, refining the query, and for the email writing. So you wanted to have the clear picture of all those things and options. So you'll go with this M365 Admin Center for that. This is another important slide again, like to understand what sort of grounding of data has happened in the Copilot. So this is something I would like to you know more press this slide, because when you have got the prompt response from the Copilot will discard the your prompt, the one which has a chat history, that is more of your the retention policies, but the Copilot never keeps your data or any organization data once it is processed. But for the investigation purposes, you need to understand where is this response coming from. Is it coming from Microsoft Graph data like emails, files, chats, organizational permissions like I spoke about, the file which is being opened up for everyone, or it needs the user context. It's just a normal regular prompt. It went to the public site to get that response to you. For example, I just want to understand what is the Nifty 50 looking today, right? It just says user context. It just went to the it quickly on the internet, found that answer, giving back to me. But which website did it actually refer to? I won't get that information. I mean, a end user can see that grounding along with the responses, but what about for investigations? So this is a key thing which is missing for the organizational investigations. So we highly recommend Microsoft again to why not this being provided for the organization to understand what is the grounding data you're giving for the end users to. It's good to know for them, but why not for the admins, right? So when admins and from the legal department, they wanted to definitely understand where is this grounding of data coming from for this particular prompt which is user injected it. This will have a clear picture for organization to understand if the response is coming from the restricted website, for instance, and then people can lock it down, right? The security team can lock it down, that particular website, and prevent this organization from accessing the data from that particular website. So which is very a key thing which I felt like is missing today. And of course, if you people know that it is there somewhere and some additional configuration is required for this, please comment it, and I'm happy to uh, go through it and then implement it in my trial tenant and give the demo on that. So knowing this, we'll understand if the sensitive data has been exposed and if the response is legitimate, etc. So what happens? So this is till now what you learn. Talk about is more for the investigating, right? Investigation purposes. Now this one is little bit low level of understanding about why the prompt injection risk and the risk associated with that. This is more of low level and the best practices again. So if I have the malicious input that manipulates the AI behavior, I know a lot of AI today is self capable of understanding, and then it also has got the guardrails strictly trained to not to get hallucinated. And so this particular, somebody's trying to hallucinate with their prompt. Now AI is having this capability of generally coming out of that hallucination and giving you clear responses. But we sometimes feel that user is still injecting it, making it like uh, ideally the AI should coach the human beings, but human beings will end up coaching the co-pilot and making it more of uh, I mean in general AI, not co-pilot. So people making it more of what do you call it as so we make it more of AI to be of as a partner. We make it develop like that, but absolutely now that is something we need to be extra cautious about. Review prompt history. So when you have got the risky prompts being created across the organization, you have audited with that the logs, and then you also need to understand if that is something can be understood. Okay, what response the AI has given to you, and then understand the end user who is the actor and etc. Then you have got the them in the audit logs, and but you sorry, in the e-discovery searches where you need to be having additional permissions. You can also view that in the audit logs itself. It comes with additional permissions for those viewing the prompt and the responses in the metadata form. Identifying unusual phrasing, is it really important? 100%, right? So let's say there is the regular phrases which end user uses for the mailing systems, for like automatic email creation, scheduling prompt, for instance. But you definitely find that some unusual phrasing has come up where the organization data being exposed. So that is again a key to for the investigators to understand what sort of keywords can be blocked at the organization. And we have got today dictionary, Copilot dictionary, where you can make sure that those kind of when the prompts has been injected or the keywords being injected, we can map it to the responses as well. So that is something a very important thing which I would like to mention here. Trace access data sources. This is something not available, but yeah, definitely let's hope it to be in the future. So if you have got the key logs and signals to analyze. So Copilot interaction logs, yes, you get it from the audit logs, file access logs. You can rely on the the SharePoint admin centers again if it's a SharePoint site. Sorry, file access logs. You can get it from the audit logs itself, and the SharePoint OneDrive activity, the audit logs, email access patterns, again the audit logs. So this sometimes this is more of how for the investigators where and when to analyze for the specific applications. So if I am the investigator, I'm from a legal department guy, I first identify the issues. If the issue being a wider, right, and no, you see, you don't jump into the AI in the first instance. Jump into the understanding what is the issue all itself, right? So AI is just an unnecessary, the a kind of repository where you have to definitely rely on, but not immediately. So investigate, identify the issues. It could be a custodian stealing the organization data, or custodian having access to the inappropriate data, a custodian having. So have identify issues, and then you can understand later about how did they actually get into there. Is that the loose permissions you have in your organization? Is it the the AI is going outside the boundary and fetching it from the sources which is definitely being should be have been locked down. So that is something will have, is part of your investigation. So don't jump into the co-pilot in general first. Jump into the issue first. Retrieve all the logs, and one of the logs will be your definitely a co-pilot, right? If that is something you feel like, okay, I need that data as well to understand it. Trace it, understand the data, validate the permissions, like as I said, loose permissions, check all the risk associated with this. Okay, file is being shared to the uh, third party by this particular prompt, or because of this copilot interactions, I could find out that the user has done a lot of activity injecting the the false prompts here. Check the risk is more important to validate the data breaches, data leakages, sensitivity exposures. Understand it and validate it, and then finally document your findings. So challenges in copilot investigation. This is the slide I would like to I was talking in the beginning about what is missing today. So limited visibility, right? Today we have got the audit logs, content explorer, and everything, but they just speak about the prompts injected, the response that you get it, but not the data sources from actor, which actor, like if it's a service principal, for instance, as injecting on behalf of you. So we need all those of in a clear cut information, or even a single pane of glass where you get all this logs available, correlation sources, high volume logs, and evolving threats. Since AI is a fast scaling, developing like in the like a skyrocket, we definitely need to be adopting to that phase as well in when it comes to the security, right? Evolving threats like hallucination was in the beginning, it got fixed, demographic got fixed. So a lot of the sensitive things got fixed while it is evolving, and evolving threats has been fixed. But being the a consultant, so you before when you're doing these implementations, being an agent or being a co-pilot in general or being any AI you're bringing into the organization, make sure you just not implement it and forget it. You continuously evolve it as well. Being that is something is very important. If you don't evolve it, and if you don't try to see what are the threats coming up, is that your system vulnerable to this, then that will be a big issues, right? Make sure that your system is continuously monitored, your system is continuously secured when it comes to the the external threats or internal threats or whatever it is. So evolving is more important here. So with that, just ending up with the best practices and the key takeaways. Make sure you have the audit logs enabled so that the legal department will not say shouldn't be surprised, or they're not disappointed that audit log was not enabled for the organization. Make sure you have a sensitivity labels with all the clear policies in place, like an encryptions, copilot exclusions. So make sure you have all the policies in control. Train the users is more important. If users are trained in such a way that they use the org data more so responsibly, so responsibly using the AI systems is more important. So make sure you train the users of that, and then the consequences, disadvantages, and etc. needs to be briefed for the users. Review the usage patterns once you have done the in an implementation. Start reviewing the usage patterns to identify what sort of copilot interactions have been happening, not just adoption side, from the usage side of deep dive into the usage patterns, whether they are using it for responsibly or not. That is more important. So key takeaways: monitoring is what happened, right? So what you have done, what you've actually done to kind of have these visualizations. But investigation is why it has happened. So why this audit log been capturing and showing me that the lot of prompts being showing up here for the end user, and what is this phrases? So why it has happened? What sorts of ground data has make this actually the response being triggered? Understanding grounding is more critical, which I always ask. We admins also should be having the visibility, not the at least if it's a public source of information, we need to be definitely understand what URLs being surfaced by these processing systems to provide this response back to the end users. So which is very critical, and I mean I hope this is adding value to everyone and this slide as well. And hopefully if you have got the information about the, yes, admins do also have the options to view those grounding data. I would happy to explore that, and definitely create a beautiful session on that one. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. Take care.